Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So on today's video, I'm going to be giving you guys a detailed step-by-step tutorial on how to braid hair as a beginner. So if you've never braid before, this is your lucky video. Just stick to it to the end, and I'm going to give you guys all the tricks and all the tips for you to be able to make a very clean braid on your first try. If you love this hair tutorial, please do me a favor by subscribing to the channel, turn on your notification bell so you don't miss any of my beginner tutorial. So when braiding as a beginner, first thing you need to do is to section your hair. Section very well, and if you want to cut your hair and you need the part to be clean, put gel on the line and then cut it again with your cutting comb and you will get a very clean line. Take note of that. So the next thing you need to do is to hold your attachment the way I'm holding it right now. What we are making is a buzz braid. So just put your attachment the way I'm putting mine right now and rest it on the hair, on the natural hair you want to braid, and then cut the natural hair in 3 sections just like the attachment is. I'm going to show you the right way to put the attachment in the next clip that we're going to watch. But however, you start it this way. So when you put it, use your index finger, make sure you press it. That's what you're using to divide, to pass through the braids, if that really makes sense. But I will advise that you pay attention to my finger. If you pay more attention to my fingers, seriously, you're not going to miss any part of it. So just pay attention to my fingers. So when you braid few strand upward, then you start braiding downward. You change the pattern of your hand, which I'm going to explain more on the next braid I'm going to start, so you can actually get a clearer picture. And what I normally do once I braid downward, I like to hide the hair, the natural hair on the attachment, and I'm going to show you guys how I do that. So firstly, on this next braid, rest you and you've put your attachment in 3, cut the natural hair in 3 as well, using your index finger to separate the hair in 3, just like I did on this video. So move your index finger. It's your index finger you're actually using to swap the braid section as you go downward, if that really makes sense. So when you braid downward a little bit, maybe like 5 to 6 strands, you will not be able to braid downward the way your hand is. So you have to change the position of your hand, just like I did right now, so you'll be able to braid downward. So let's talk about how to get a very neat braid. So when you're braiding downward this way, if you notice, you see some hair, the natural hair strand, together with the attachment. So what I do, I twist my hand backward just to make sure that that attachment, the natural hair, is going under the braid. So if you pay attention to my hand, that's why I'm saying on this tutorial what you need to do if you really want to learn how to braid hair, then you have to pay attention to my hand. So immediately I'm braiding downward, I'm moving the natural hair into the back. On the next clip, I'm going to explain even more better for you guys to actually pay attention to this, because if you follow these tips, I bet you by the time you start a braid, you braid hair for the first time, you're going to see how neat it's going to look. Look at how neat this braid look. It's very neat. So guys, before we dive into the next one, if you've not subscribed to my channel, please support me by hitting on the subscribe button, press on the notification bell for you to be notified whenever I upload a new video. I do upload new videos every Thursday at 2:15 noon PM, should I say. Yeah, so please hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any of my videos. So we're going to dive into the next one now. So what you do, you hold the attachment, pick a little tiny portion. That portion that is not too big is the one you're going to put together in 2, so it will be the same equal size with the other one you're going to share in 2, if that makes sense. So the one that is not as big is like half of that big one, then you share that big one in 2, while the one that is smaller, the one I'm just stretching out, that's the one you're going to hold together. Because if you hold that one together, it becomes one size of that big portion, if that makes sense. I don't want to beat my tongue, so just pay attention to the way I'm resting the attachment on my client's hair. So when you rest it there, you use your index finger to share your natural hair in 3 into the attachment, because the attachment is already shared in 3, if that really makes sense. So when you are gripping from the bottom, just look at my middle finger. It's pressing downward. That's to make sure that the braid is firm at the bottom, if that really makes sense. I think the next video, the next braid I'm going to start, I'm going to start talking on time so you can actually pay attention to what I'm actually saying about that portion when you start gripping the braid from the bottom, from the root. So you need your middle finger to press down just to make sure that the braid is tight. You know, when you start braiding from the beginning, you braid and it looks like the braid is not tight at the bottom. So how to get a tight braid at the bottom, that is how you do it. But right now, pay attention to the way I braid this head downward. So when you are braiding downward and then you are hiding the natural hair, that like the client's hair, from the attachment, it makes your braid comes out very neat. Just look at this one that I just braid. You see how neat it is. So if you want your braid to be neat, this is how you basically do it. It will come out very neat. You won't find any natural hair on top of the braid. So pay attention to this very one that I'm going to braid. Now see the way I rest my attachment on top of the client's hair, and then I will use my index finger to divide the client's natural hair into three. You see that cross I made? I've divided it into three. So you will see that the movement that you can notice is the index finger and the middle finger. That's what works. If you notice the middle finger is pressing downward, that is what makes your braid to be firm at the bottom. Yeah, so just pay attention to that. So when one of the hands is going up, one is down, trying to secure the braid. So I'm going to talk about the three strand now. Immediately I change my hand. So you see when I change my hand, so when you change your hand this way, just make sure that the hair on the braid, it's going bottom at the back of the attachment. It means the attachment will be on top and the braid will be the natural hair will be at the bottom. So with that, when you braid downward, it hides the natural hair of the client. With that, you'll be able to get a very neat braid. And you can see that when you are doing the three strand method, when you're braiding downward, is the thumb finger and the index finger and then the middle finger that is actually working. Actually the two, the thumb, your big thumb, and then the index finger, that is what you use to braid the three strands. So you move it, you are moving it, swapping it. How do I really explain that? But if you pay attention to what I am doing right now, you're really going to notice what I did. And if you want a more slower video to be able to get a more clarification on what I've just explained on how to braid your hair, please leave a comment in the comment section, and I'm going to make a slower videos and a more detailed or more informative video for you guys to be able to watch, for you to know how to braid as a beginner. So if you want to learn how to braid as a beginner, this is actually packed with a lot of information. So yeah, this came out beautiful. So if you have idea on all these tips I've just mentioned, and also don't forget, you have to trim as you braid, just like I'm doing right now. When I braid one, I trim one. That is what I normally do, because when you braid it in bulk and then start trimming it in bulk, you miss some strand of braid. So I like to really braid, trim as I braid. So with that, you'll be able to get a very neat braid. Like I always say, in the UK, in Manchester where we base, I'm like the best neat braider you will find. I get clients coming from far and near using train to get to my location just to get their hair braided. So guys, thank you so much for watching, and if you've not subscribed, please hit on the subscribe button, and I'll see you guys on my next one. Bye.